Hi, Eric Linask with TMC. We're here in New York at Cloud Expo East, and I'm talking now with Allisair Farquarson. Did I get that right, Allisair?
You did indeed, Eric.
Thank you. Allisair's with SOA Technologies. Welcome, thanks for joining me, SOA Software.
Yes, exactly.
So tell me, who is SOA Software?
Well, SOA Software is now in the business of doing API management. So I guess the question is, what is API management? Well, API management is all about how do businesses expose functionality? How do they reach out? How do they create a community of developers around a set of APIs to support mobile apps, web-based app integration, WebSockets-based integration, all of these new kinds of web-based protocols and standards for creating new business channels.
And how does that play into everything that we're seeing, how the cloud is evolving?
Well, APIs are very, very intimately associated with cloud. Things that you're putting into the cloud need to talk back to your organization through a set of APIs, and the applications that you're actually putting into the cloud that are supporting mobile apps or partner apps, those need to expose APIs. So you kind of got APIs at the top and the bottom. So the API kind of becomes the currency or the fabric of cloud, not to put too fine a point on it.
So Allisair, what is it exactly that SOA Software is helping accomplish?
So we actually provide two different things, or three different things. We provide an API gateway, which actually handles the runtime management and security of APIs, things like OAuth, monitoring, management, SLA management, throttling, throughput, etc. Then we also offer our customers a developer community or developer portal, where they can actually manage how they interact with their partners and how they interact with mobile app developers and web developers. And it's kind of like, you know, the cross between Facebook and Yahoo Shopping. It's a way that they can collaborate with their developers and support their developers. And then the third part of that is lifecycle management for APIs. So how do we actually, or how do we allow organizations to get a handle on these APIs, these cloud environments, how they relate with each other, and the SDLC processes and controls around that.
How does security play, and how do businesses ensure their APIs are secure?
Well, security is a big part of it, obviously. I mean, when you're exposing a set of functionality outside of your traditional firewall, when you're exposing cloud-based applications, security is often an afterthought. So you need to add that on afterwards. And our API gateway allows people to secure these APIs and these applications sort of after the fact. You know, or at least the developers themselves don't have to worry about these non-functional requirements. They can build their apps in the cloud, they can build them quickly, they can create these business relationships, and then we will provide that security layer for them.
Who is your customer?
So our customers are typically enterprise customers, so customers that are trying to leverage APIs to create a new business channel. So it could vary. I mean, if you're looking at airlines, for example, they're using APIs to create points exchanges, or they're using APIs to integrate with their mobile apps, or they're using APIs to integrate with travel exchanges. So all of these different kinds of models mean different things for different businesses. But typically our kind of customer that needs this sort of infrastructure is the enterprise, it is the Fortune 1000, it's an organization that has a number of APIs and they're important to their business.
How do you change the fact that as you said, security can often be an afterthought when it comes to the APIs and exposing anything to outside environments?
I think there's two ways. One, you make it part of the infrastructure, so it kind of comes along for the whole package. So whatever the developer's doing, it's done in the context of a secure infrastructure and a secure set of capabilities. And secondly, you make it part of their lifecycle. So they are, when they go out and they deploy their applications, they are asked to make decisions around security. So there's both a runtime aspect that's part of the infrastructure as well as a lifecycle and governance aspect around how they build their applications.
How should enterprises respond to the notion that there may be government entities who are requesting access to the data that they may have stored in the cloud?
Well, that's a tricky question. I think it's up to them to figure out what is right, what's appropriate, and what their user constituency would expect from them.
And how about the cloud providers?
I think the cloud providers, they need to think at a second tier what their customers would want and expect. So I don't think that people should go out there and feel that it's a free-for-all, and I don't think people should be opening up doors that are potentially unknown or the end consumer's not aware of.
Is it something that enterprises should be concerned about?
I think so. I think the more direct threat, though, is probably more overt hostile action, denial of service attacks. I think it's all about what's the word I'm looking for? It's all about deliberate attacks to their websites and their web infrastructure. So if I go out and I put a cloud-based application into EC2, for example, it's only a matter of time before someone starts experimenting and playing with it and trying to hack it open. Not because they're being deliberately malicious against me, but because it's just in their nature to be curious. And these things can often bring down a business and bring down a website or an API. So I think that the primary concern is probably about how do you protect yourself as an organization, how do you protect your quality of service, how do you protect your private data from individuals who are actually trying to get hold of that data for some malicious purpose, or potentially just looking around and trying to be malicious just for the hell of it.
Excellent. Allisair, thank you for joining us here. I'm Eric Lanask here at Cloud Expo. Be sure to check out all of our Cloud Expo coverage in the TMC Video Newsroom.